Pump the brakes. This is a mid-review interruption. I just got this. Well, I actually shot this review yesterday, and then I shared it out to, if you are on our Patreon or Discord, you kind of get early access, so you get to view the stuff. A couple of the guys notified me, somebody that hangs out with Jay Yagi, that CSS is actually clearing these speakers out for $3,000 a pair. So right now, you guys can get this $5,500 set of towers right behind me. And I'll say in the review, you'll see it. I think these are a value for $5,500, but apparently they're clearing out the last few pairs for $3,000 on the CSS website. So if you go there right now, click buy. Apparently there's some way that you get them for $3,300 on clearance. So anyway, back to your regular scheduled program. Hey, what's going on, everybody? James here, your ABX audiophile. Today we're going to talk about the CSS Typhon. You can see them behind me here, and we have been waiting a long time. Like when these things first came out, my review channel was pretty small, and so I don't know if we had the pull. To get a speaker like this in, you know, I think back then I was still buying stuff off Amazon to review, but we've grown a little bit. I actually met Jay Yagi at Expona this year. He actually came to our room. We had a little hotel room where the ABX audiophile crew kind of hung out, and he came over and showed up and hung out with us, and we had a really, really good time. I reached out to him after the show because I went to the CSS room at Expona, and I heard some of their speakers, and as well as the Typhons were there, and I was like, man, I really need to get my ears on this. So just for context, over this last year, we've had a bunch of tower speakers in this price range in the room. And one of those speakers, my reference speaker today, is the Dynaudio Evoke 50, which is another speaker that comes in at exactly $5,500. We've also had the Borison X2 in, which is about $3,000 more. I think they're about $8,800 for the pair. And then the Typhons here, I think these come in at the same price as the Evoke 50s for $5,500 a pair. So we've got a lot of good references this year as far as tower speakers go, kind of in this price point. So let's take a look at the CSS Typhons. I know they've been reviewed to death, but I'm going to let you guys know what I think about them, kind of how they compare to some of those other speakers that we had in for audition, some of the things we used with the CSS Typhons, kind of how they paired well with certain gear and maybe gear to think about pairing them with. Each speaker, you can kind of find that synergy. So where did we find our synergy with the Typhons? What did we like about them? How do they sound? What don't we like about them? Can we recommend them for the $5,500? So let's take a look at them. We'll do a good overview. We'll go over some specifications. We'll jump back in here. I'll give you my quick thoughts on sound, performance, and pairing, and we will get you guys out of here. All right, let's go. Okay, so as far as like sound is concerned, like just overall sound quality, like I said, we had the Dynaudio Evoke 50s, the Borison X2s, and these guys in. One thing that I noticed right off the rip, I heard a lot of people say that these things were really bass heavy and bass forward. I did not find that to be the case. The 7-inch bass drivers that they use in this speaker, it's paper fiberglass, I believe. It's a CSS driver. They list it out on the website. Really nice articulate bass. I liked the bass in these speakers. It was not overdone. I think the Dynaudio Evoke 50, which is my reference speaker, I think it digs a little bit deeper and punches a little bit lower. But the Typhons have a really really nice texture to them, and then the Borison, I mean that's just all performance. But you know, the kind of differences between those three speakers in the bass region is really interesting. You know, the Dynaudio digs a little bit deeper, a little bit more fuller. The CSS Typhons are a little bit more textured, has a little bit more nuance to them. And then the Borison X2 are just kind of like a punch dynamic kind of detail type thing. And I really couldn't pick like one that I liked better if I had to. But the Typhons do bass really, really good. As far as the mids and vocals, I really like the Typhon's mid vocal clarity and richness because of that separated cabinet. You're not getting that resonance kind of running all the way up through the tower like you do in some other speakers. Which is good because the Typhon isn't really a super thick tower like the cabinetry. If you move over to something like the Evoke 50s, the cabinets are much thicker, and they kind of need to be to kind of limit that resonance, and it's not separated. But with the Typhons, they separated that upper section that you can tilt on axis or off axis. It's got this really cool mechanism in the back that you pull, and you can kind of angle that. If you looked at the photos, you've seen it. So that's really nice. So that separation. So mid-range, man, I mean, just they're using kind of these paper kind of drivers, these paper fiberglass drivers. So you get a really good naturalness and a richness to them. I really like the mid-range and vocal in this space. I think they do it really well. They have it tuned really, really nice. I can't remember the exact crossover points. And I would be guessing if I tried, but the upper treble region, like getting into that like sparkle and that dynamics and that air. The really cool thing about the Typhons is, again, with that separated cabinet, I feel over my reference Dynaudio that they are a little bit cleaner, a little bit more resolving in that upper end than maybe the Evoke 50s are, which, like I said, that's kind of my reference speaker. I've said it 100 times, but very, very well done. I could not fault the treble energy and the treble presentation, the spaciousness, the soundstage. And that's the thing. These Typhons, when now kind of moving into the soundstage thing, I liked these guys on axis just to the outside of my shoulders. So I didn't like them pointing directly in. I felt like that upper treble energy got just a little bit too forward for me. So I did toe these out just a smidge where they were kind of just shooting by my shoulders. Really kind of smooth that out and just kind of balance that speaker overall, and that was kind of my sweet spot. I had them in a very large room. I think my room is like 20-something wide by 16 foot deep. I had them probably 9 feet apart, maybe even a little bit more, slightly towed in with my listening position about 8 feet from the speakers, and they absolutely disappeared in the soundstage. They project width into the room, set nicely behind the speakers as far as the soundstage goes. Good depth. I mean, it was everything that my Evoke 50s did, and I didn't find anything lacking in that soundstage space. Really good. So overall, just a really good, natural, rich speaker that has really nice bass. And then, like I said, due to that cabinet being separated on the top, man, you get nice resolving mid-range and treble in these speakers. I would easily pay $5,500 for these just on the looks alone. They are an absolutely fantastic speaker in that regard. All the crossover components are like high-end Jensen, and I mean, there is nothing cheap inside this speaker. They went all out with this guy, and you can see that the attention to detail leads to some really good performance and sound. At the end of the day, are they going to dethrone my Dynaudio Evoke 50s? That all comes down to just what your flavor is, man. You know, the Typhons for me play really, really well with some tube amplification, and they are pretty sensitive. I think they're like 87, 88 dB sensitive. So I was even able to throw some kind of lower watt tube amps on these guys. You throw a good Class D GAN-FET amp like the Orchard Audio stuff on there, handled it really, really well. You know, that damping factor just comes into play and just the control over the speakers. Another one of our favorites with the Typhons was the Galion TS-A75 Class A B amp. That amp on the Typhons almost brought the bass up on the Typhons to kind of the level of the Evoke 50s where I kind of like them. It just gave it that little extra little meat on the bottom, and that is a really cool amplifier. So yeah, awesome speaker, $5,500, no brainer. It's a beautiful space, and I don't remember how many were made. I don't know if there was a lot of them made or what the availability of them is now, kind of currently in the industry. But definitely worth a look if you're looking for that speaker. In the $5,000 to $8,000 range. I really think that these need to be on kind of your short list, and if you got a chance to go listen to them somewhere, that would be really cool because they are a fantastic speaker, man, and I can highly recommend them. So anyway, my name's James. I hope you enjoyed this review of the CSS Typhons. Thank you to Jay Yagi. Go over there and check out his YouTube channel, man. That guy's pretty cool, and it was nice of him to reach out and loan us these speakers for review, and I appreciate you. And thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.